Money back if your horse finishes second to the SP favourite in any Channel 4 or RTE race during Cheltenham.
Okay, the JLT. Every time Vautour's name is mentioned, Ruby seems to light up. He loves this horse. He thinks it's going to win. What do you think, Ted?
Well, leaving Cheltenham last year, if anyone that was there, I came away from Cheltenham last year thinking that he was the best horse I saw at Cheltenham as a novice. He jumped out, he half-tanked with Ruby every step of the way. When he gave him a squeeze there, he picked up and winged the last and he won. I thought even he might be champion hurl horse when I was coming away from it. I wasn't as impressed with Faheen in the 2.5 mile. They came back to Punchestown. Vautour wasn't as impressive as Punchestown as Faheen. And other than he winning in a canter at Navan the first day, he hasn't just lit my fire this year quite like he had when I was coming away from Cheltenham last year. I definitely thought coming away from Cheltenham last year that Vautour was another Cheltenham winner. He still might do it. He's a good jumper, but he just something he just hasn't shown that. I thought he was going to be on the same when he's novice chase at Navan. I thought his next step after that was going to be another step up. Your horse made donkey of him at Christmas Clarkham, and even that he won the last day. There was just something that he won well now, but I'd like to see him. Maybe he'll come alive at Cheltenham. I don't know. What do you think, Gordon?
I done a Cheltenham preview with David Casey the other night, and I'd value him as a very good judge, and he said he's just napped at a meeting. So
is he?
Really? That's enough for me. Like,
yeah.
Because Davy was torn, and Gordon, he was torn about whether it was going to be Undersow or Vautour, and Ruby as well for the Arkle, and the fact I suppose Undersow is going there now, but Vautour would weekly take his place there with no problems at all.
I'd say there's never any competition.
Really?
Undersow was always going for the Arkle.
Okay.
I'd have a slight worry with this race, as we saw a couple of years ago. Peddler's Cross had a chance of going for an Arkle or an RSA, and he went for this and he flopped. I'd have to agree with Ted. Like, you came out of Navan that day and you'd say, Mother God, this is like as good a hurdler he's a better chaser. And then, as Ted said, maybe just not as confident since. I like Valsolido. He's another one from Willie's Yard. I think he was not unlucky, but I'd say he'd be better than he was here at Leopardstown the last day, behind Apache Stronghold. For me, I think Valsolido over the trip and everything around Cheltenham, I think he ran in Supreme Novices last year, ran reasonable, finished maybe 7th or 8th or 5th or 6th. That he could step up and trip to 2.5, jumps the fence extremely well, was very impressive in the race in Fairy House. The Drimmore in Fairy House, and for me, I think Valsolido is the horse for this race.
What price is Vautour, Leon?
He is drifting. He's drifting out to 9-4 now, and I'm sure, there's plenty of people in the room that'll be thinking if he goes 5-2 or even, I'm telling you, he might touch 11-4 on the day. So you'd be better off having a look and seeing almost what happens on the day with him. As Ted said, his performance in the Supreme Novice was unbelievable 12 months ago. You'd have to say that Apache Stronghold, the form that he has, is rock solid on his last 2 runs. That second behind Don Poley over 3 miles was one hell of a run, and then he stepped back and trip and he beat Valsolido, who you'd have to say ran a cracker, having not run since November at Fairy House. Of the English horses, Petit Zig is going to drop back into novice company now, having tried to put it up against the big lads. I've been impressed with what he's done so far before his last fall, and you can forgive a horse head one fall, right?
Not if you're on his back.
Yeah, but come here, listen.
Or lying down underneath him as he's rolling all over you.
Yeah, but I mean, prior to that, when he was in novice company, he was doing it quite easily, I felt. And look, there's no point in all of us just talking about Irish horses. We might as well have a look at the English.
We shouldn't bother arse looking at the English.
Of the rest, I would say Petit Zig at 4-1. Well, there you go. He's absolutely no chance.
Are you going to sponsor the race?
Yeah.
As well?
But I'll tell you what, should the English have nothing else in the race? It looks as if it's going to be, there's going to be probably 7 runners, and I'd say 6 of them, maybe 5 of them will be Irish. I think of the Irish form, Apache Stronghold is the strongest so far.
Gordon, David Jacobs' nap of the festival is Vautour. What's your own view?
My nap of the festival?
No, in terms of Vautour, what's your own view on him?
Listen, I agree with what Ted and Davy said. He looked awesome in Navan the first day. He beat my horse. He actually beat Clarkham the first day. And Clarkham was plenty fit enough going to Navan that day. And Clarkham made Vautour look like dirt around here the next day. So for me, either there's something wrong with him or he didn't up to scratch. But if he turns up the horse he was in Navan, he's a chance. If he turns up the horse he was here, or even the last day, I'd be worried.
Yeah, he has to come back to his Navan run, and he has to come back to his Supreme Novice run.
My horse
There was either some little thing wrong with him physically or mentally. He's not as switched on to the fences as we all thought at Navan. You know, like at Navan, you just came away from it saying, "Oh my God, that was special."
He bet us 10 or 15 lengths on the bridle, and we bet him 20 around here on the bridle.
Yeah.
I know he made a mistake.
Yeah.
It was Ireland's first run over fences in Navan. Like, that shouldn't happen, really. I don't think
Well,
should it?
you'd say your horse improved for Navan and he disimproved.
Yeah, definitely.
Your horse has a liking for fences and maybe he hasn't.
Can any horse improve 30 lengths?
Huh?
Can any horse improve 30 lengths in a race?
Taking in one horse disimproving and another horse
Yeah,
improving.
I think he disimproved for me.
There's something about him, and he just didn't light anyone's fire in the last couple of runs.
Liam, last word to you.
Apache stronghold for me. I think I thought that was a really decent performance in a good race the last day at Leopardstown, and he stayed on great there. And I think Carberry will produce him late, and he'll be there or thereabouts.
Okay.